Hey there folks, if you want to stay updated on the latest news, don't forget to follow S News so you can catch this and future videos. And, it really helps us out if you subscribe, give us a like, and drop a comment below. We appreciate your support. Sue. Late last night, Ukraine's security services destroyed another Russian airbase, this time in occupied Crimea. High-precision drones hit Russian fighter jets and an ammunition depot, costing Russia hundreds of millions of dollars, because they couldn't stop drones worth only a few thousand each. So much for the second strongest military in the world. According to Euromaidan, the target was Zircon Airbase, Russia's main base in Crimea. Russian aircraft use it to launch strikes on southern Ukraine and to target ships in the Black Sea. It hosts strategic bombers and reconnaissance planes, and it's about 80 kilometers from Ukrainian-controlled territory. Ukraine's security service said they used drones for precision strikes on Russian equipment. As a result, one Su-30 fighter jet was completely destroyed, another Su-30 was damaged, and 3 Su-24 attack aircraft were hit. This was a major blow to Russia's war economy. The drones Ukraine used likely cost between a few thousand and $10,000 each. Even if several were used, the total cost was tiny compared to the damage inflicted. Just the destroyed Su-30 alone is worth about $50 million, not counting the cost to repair the others. Ukraine has been carrying out strikes like this almost every night in recent weeks. Just yesterday, a Russian railway station was hit in the Valuiki area, disrupting military logistics that supply the front lines. Local reports said airports in Belgorod and Tomarovka were closed overnight, and mobile internet was down, part of what appears to be tighter control over information inside Russia. The railway station targeted is used to move military equipment, fuel and personnel to the southern front, especially into occupied Donbas and Zaporizhia. This wasn't a random strike, it was aimed at crippling Russia's supply lines. Without regular supplies, Russian units at the front can't hold defensive positions or launch new attacks. That's why Ukraine has been hitting rail hubs and fuel facilities. Soldiers may win battles, but logistics win wars. In this particular railway attack, Ukraine reportedly used around 10 drones, each costing about $200,000, roughly $2 million in total, to destroy key railway lines and oil facilities. These strikes are having a direct effect on Russia's ability to wage war. Recently, Russia banned gasoline exports because domestic fuel prices are soaring, partly due to Ukrainian attacks on refineries and oil depots. Putin now has to choose between exporting fuel for war funding or keeping it at home to avoid public unrest. The economic strain is clear. Almost all of Russia's oil export revenue is being funneled into the war. The more Ukraine can disrupt those exports, the harder it is for Russia to finance its military. Meanwhile, Putin continues targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. There's growing recognition, even abroad, that lowering global energy prices could weaken Russia's war machine by cutting its revenues. If energy prices drop far enough, Putin would be forced to scale back or stop the war because the economy simply couldn't sustain it. For Russia to recover economically, it would have to end the invasion and pay compensation for the damage done to Ukraine. Until then, both sides continue to take heavy losses, and the war grinds on. And that's what they've got, but I think the real number is much higher. The leaders of both Rwanda and Congo were great. They really wanted to end it. That conflict had been going on for 31 years, and we stopped it. We've stopped a lot of wars. Serbia and Kosovo were about to erupt, but I don't think that's going to happen now. Now, putting that aside for a second, Dmitry Medvedev. I'm starting to wonder if he's some kind of double agent. For those who don't know, he's the former president of Russia and now serves as deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, so he's definitely part of the government. Every time he opens his mouth, Trump ends up putting more pressure on Russia. It all started when Medvedev threatened Trump with nuclear war. And what did Trump do? He sent 2 nuclear submarines off the Russian coast. That obviously wasn't good news for Moscow, and many assumed the Kremlin would try to get Medvedev to tone it down. especially after comments like these from Putin's spokesman, Peskov, who told the world, "Don't listen to Medvedev, he's losing it." Here's what Peskov said. "In every country, leaders have different opinions and approaches to current events, and some take hardline positions. In the US, in Europe and elsewhere. But ultimately, what matters is President Putin's stance. Because in Russia, foreign policy is set by the president." Apparently Medvedev didn't get the memo, or maybe he was too drunk to care, because he came right back with more nuclear threats. Here's what he said. Russia's withdrawal from its suspension on deploying short and medium-range missiles is a response to NATO's hostile policy toward Russia. He warned that opponents should expect further steps. This is why I think Medvedev might actually be helping Ukraine in some twisted way. Some in the Russian government clearly don't want him talking, because every time he does it makes Russia's position worse, but he just won't stop. Meanwhile, Russian state TV is still running propaganda, claiming their submarines are far superior to America's, ignoring the fact that a massive earthquake and tsunami just wiped out their sub-base on Russia's east coast. You can even see it in satellite images, so the Russians surely know about it. But Kremlin TV prefers to stick to their narrative. They show footage claiming their subs are on combat missions. But if only 6 out of 73 subs are actually deployed, that's under 10%. A terrible readiness rate, honestly, even worse than the US Navy's. They brag that their subs aren't intercontinental ballistic missile carriers, but are modern cruise missile subs, and that in times of crisis up to 50% of them operate independently. Right now, they say it's a little over 30%. According to them, these subs are still active, and the Americans, well, still can't find them. They recall when a Russian sub visited Cuba. Apparently it shocked the Americans. First they made it seem like it was heading elsewhere, then it disappeared and popped up near Cuba. For the US, it was a surprise. This sub carried Zircon missiles, which, by the way, the Americans don't have. The US sent its fastest Los Angeles-class sub to track it, but couldn't catch up or locate it. From their perspective, that proves Russian subs are ahead. They've just launched a new Borei-class sub and another from the Project 885M line, and they're calling them the most advanced they've ever built. Finally, just want to say thanks for listening, folks. And hey, don't forget to follow S News and check out our future videos. If you liked what you heard, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We appreciate it.